So let's look into the basics, okay? What is a concealer and what does it do? Concealer is a little more thicker than the foundation and it helps to hide the imperfections on skin. So suppose if you have like acne spots, or if you have like a pigmentation, or if you have like dark circles, or whatever imperfections you have on your skin, the concealer helps to hide that imperfections. So the next thing is concealer versus corrector. So are these two the same or are they different? Okay, so concealer helps to hide the imperfections while the corrector helps to correct the imperfected area. So for suppose if you have like redness on your skin due to an acne breakout, or just because of like skin concerns like rosacea or stuff, then the corrector helps to correct that color, you know, the red color. It helps to neutralize that color so that afterwards when you apply your concealer and foundation, the redness or the discoloration on skin will not show up after the whole phase of makeup. Okay, so if you have like dark circles, once you apply a corrector and then apply your foundation and concealer, the dark circle, you know, the color of the dark circles will not show up. So correctors helps to cancel out the color. It neutralizes the color, while the concealer helps to hide that problematic area of the skin. So concealer and corrector are two different things, guys. Like, you know, when coming to concealers, you have to pick the right match to your skin tone, just like your foundation. But when it comes to correctors, you have just a particular set of correctors like orange, yellow, green and purple, okay, and also peach. So if you have dark circles or the pigmentation problem, then you need to pick an orange color corrector if you have like medium to deep dark skin. So in case if you have like very fair complexion, then you need to take a peach color corrector to cancel out the purplish, you know, the dark circles and pigmented areas of your face. If you have like red acne marks or the rosacea on skin, the red marks on skin, to cancel out that redness, you have to use a green color corrector. These are actually, green and the red are the most used color correctors. We usually don't use the purple and yellow in the regular daily basis of makeup. These are the most used color correctors. So my favorite color corrector is this one from LA Girl. See, okay, they also have an orange, they also have a green color corrector as well. Again, I have the same one actually from LA Girl. So this is super pigmented, it is super high quality and comes for a very cheap, affordable price. So I highly recommend this color correctors, and also even like in concealers, I highly recommend this. This is like a not that drying formula, so it actually suits like all skin types, no matter what skin type you have, like oily, dry, combo. It works for all skin types. I don't have like particularly too much redness on my skin that I would need like a green color corrector. So once I apply my foundation and stuff, you know, my redness over here just cancels out. It just covers up. But if you have like very prominent red marks on your skin due to acne or due to rosacea, then use a green color corrector, okay, in that area. But now because I have like pigmentation around my mouth, this is actually one of the area most of the Indians do have like pigmentation around the mouth and also this inner corner. And this is actually one of the neglected area. Most people don't use that color corrector and concealer here. And so after applying makeup now, for some people, the whole face will look perfect. But in this area, it turns out gray and ashy. That's because they are skipping the color corrector and that they might not be using a proper concealer. So I'm going to show you how to use a color corrector now. I'm going to take this, and for applying color corrector you can either use a sponge or a brush. So coming to brush, you can use like two different set of brushes. You can take a brush like this. This is a concealer brush from Real Techniques. So just see the bristles, okay? This is very thickly packed. So if you take a brush like this, which is actually thickly packed, so that will, place like a lot of product. You know, if you actually apply the color corrector or the concealer with this brush, you will get a lot more coverage. If you take a brush like this, you know, a blending brush, see the bristles are actually diffused, you know, they are far from each other, like airy, they're just spread out. So the hair is spread out. So if you take a brush like this and if you blend out your concealer or corrector, you will get like very sheer to a minimum coverage, okay? So if you're just like looking for an everyday sort of makeup and you want to apply only very minimal concealer with a very minimal coverage, you can take a blending brush. But if you are looking for a very full coverage, then you can take a brush like this in terms of brush. Or this as a perfect tool. You can literally use this to apply your concealers, correctors, and also your foundation. This is like a magic tool when it comes to makeup. I'm just gonna take the color corrector and now I'm gonna apply this on my problematic areas of my face, okay? So remember, you don't need to apply too much of color corrector, because if you apply too much of orange now, then even once you apply foundation and stuff, still sometimes the orange will be peeking through. So don't apply too much. So always apply little, okay? And if you want to apply a little more extra now, then you can always go and build it up later, okay? So don't apply too much in the start, because it's always hard to remove the product from the skin, guys. Remember that. But it's easy to build up the product. So just see, I'm also concentrating in this inner corners of the eye. And in case if you have like pigmentation on the eyelid as well, because some people do have that pigmentation on the eyelid, in case if you have pigmentation on the eyelid, then do apply the color corrector even on that area, okay? I'm just applying some over here. Run it under a tap of water and squeeze out all the excess water from the sponge and then use it. So I'm just gonna blend this now. I'm gently tapping the product into the skin. I'm also applying a little bit here just because I have a bit of pigmentation in that mole area, which I really don't like. And just, you know, remember that you don't want to blend too much, okay? So if you just put on blending and if you blend for too much time, you might remove the orange color corrector from your skin. In that way, again, the pigmentation area will peek through. So you don't want that, right? This is the whole orangey situation. And now let's dive right into concealers. So once you apply your color corrector, you need to hide this pigmentation by using a concealer that is an exact match to your skin tone, okay? So when you're using a concealer to hide some imperfections on your skin, you should never take a concealer that is lighter than your skin tone, because let me tell you why. If you're using a lighter shade of concealer, that means that you are bringing that area forward, you are highlighting it, okay? If you apply a lighter shade of concealer on your acne mark or an acne bump or any pigmented area, you are highlighting that area. You don't want to make it look very prominent, right? So you want to hide it. So when you want to hide something, you just need to use a concealer that is a very exact match to your skin tone. And just like foundations, concealers also have undertones: warm, neutral, and cool, okay? So whenever you're picking a concealer, you have to always look at your undertone and then pick the concealer, okay? So now I'm gonna take the LA Girl Pro Concealer. Again, one of my favorite. I told you, right? This is my absolute favorite. So I'm just gonna take this and apply this on all the areas where I have applied my corrector. And also another thing that you need to remember is that just like foundations, concealers also have different textures, okay? So when it comes to picking how to pick the correct color of concealer and how to pick the right formulation of concealer, okay? How do you know that this is the perfect concealer for you? So you should always put your skin type in mind. For suppose if you have like a very dry skin, you just have to use a concealer that is little more, hydrating, a very creamy and radiant formula. If you have like super oily skin, then you should use a matte, textured concealer. If you have combination skin, depending upon your area, if you're using it on the area where you get over shiny, then use a matte concealer. But if you are using it on your dry area of your face, use a hydrating concealer. For normal skin, you can literally pick whatever you want. You're super lucky. Just depending upon the type of the finish you want on your skin, you can either pick hydrating or matte. And Also, just like foundations, concealers also have different set of coverages. Like if you take like a liquid concealer, the liquid formulation is little more thinner than a pot cream concealer. Okay, if you want like a lot more coverage, if you have a like heavy dark circle problem and you want to cover it up, then you need to take if you want like a very full coverage concealer, then you have to take like a pot concealer, you know, something like creamy pot. But in case if you have like mild dark circles or medium dark circles, you know, then you can just take a liquid sort of like concealer. Oops, wait, liquid. This is actually a liquid formula, you know, the liquid formula. So you can take a liquid formula concealer. So that gives you like a little less coverage than a pot concealer, creamy concealer. So so always when you're picking up a concealer or your foundation, you know, just read the description of the product. Go into the Sephora website or just go into the brand's website and read the description. There they'll be giving you like, you know, it's a matte full coverage, or you know, it's a hydrating medium coverage concealer. They're gonna describe about the formulation and the coverage it gives. So depending on that, you need to, depending upon your skin concern and depending upon how much of coverage you want and depending upon the finish you want, you need to pick the concealer. Now, if you have like a dry skin and you pick a matte coverage concealer, like matte finish concealer, it is gonna give a disaster, creepy look on your skin. So if you again have like an oily skin and you take radiant creamy concealer, you're gonna literally look like a grease ball at the end of the makeup. So always put your skin type in mind and choose the concealer. So I'm just gonna blend it out with the sponge, again in the same dabbing motion. Again, as I told you, you can pick a brush as well for blending out your concealer. Yeah, and choosing the tool you want, you know, that's actually a personal preference. And also, if you come to the question that should you apply foundation first or should you apply a concealer first, then that is again a personal preference, you guys. So you can either apply foundation first and then go with the concealer, or you can apply concealer first and then go with your foundation. It's totally a personal preference, okay? Now, I applied my foundation on my skin. So now when it comes to the thing that how to pick the perfect color of your concealer, as we already talked about it, you know, just like foundations, we also have the undertones in terms of concealer. So you need to always match your concealer with your undertone of your skin, okay? So I talked like more about undertones in my foundation, how to apply foundation flawlessly video. I'll be linking that on the top in case if you guys want to check. So now, you know, coming to the color. So when you are actually hiding something, when you are correcting your dark circles or pigmentation or acne marks, you need to pick a concealer which is a very close match to your skin tone. But in case if you're actually brightening up your skin, if you're highlighting with a concealer and you're bringing, you know, emphasizing and brightening up your skin, then you need to take a lighter shade of concealer. And when it means lighter, you can take up to like, you know, 1 to 2 tones lighter than your skin tone. Again, of same undertone, okay? So you shouldn't change your undertone of your concealer at all, even if you go lighter. It should be of same undertone. Else, if you use like a wrong undertone, that area will turn gray, okay? So let me just show you how I usually pick my lighter shade of concealer, okay? So for example, I'll be just swatching my foundation. Do you guys see? So this is actually my foundation and this is my concealer. So just see that this is actually lighter than the foundation. So this is how much light I go with my concealer for highlighting. Next common question is, why does it turn gray and emphasize wrinkles and fine lines? So the thing is that when you actually use a wrong concealer, you know, like a wrong shade of concealer, that area will turn gray or ashy. Or in case if you have a dark circle problem or if you have acne mark problem, and if you didn't color correct your skin using an orange or green color correctors and then directly go with your foundation and other makeup, then that area will turn gray because you didn't color correct your skin first. You didn't neutralize your skin first. And in case if you are using like a lighter shade of concealer to hide your pigmentation and dark circles instead of going with a close match to your skin tone, then that area will turn gray. And when does it highlight, when does it show up that wrinkles and fine lines is that? So I would recommend you that if you have the wrinkle and fine line problem, make sure that you're using like a proper skincare routine, because always remember, you cannot get like a smooth foundation or the smooth makeup without having a smooth skin underneath, okay? So skincare is so important. No matter how much of makeup we're going to apply on skin, it's going to only correct the coloring areas and it's just going to emphasize some beautiful features on skin, but it does not give but makeup will not give that smooth canvas, okay? It will not give that filtered effect on skin. Generally, one big rule of thumb is that in case if you have like the wrinkle and fine line problem, then make sure that you're using like a very creamy hydrating formula concealer, because when you're using like a matte concealer in that area, so the matte is actually a very thicker formula, right? It's very drying, so it quickly settles down into that the wrinkle area. So to combat that, always use like a hydrating and creamy formula, so it glides on the skin easily and it will be easy for you to blend, okay? So picking the perfect texture of the concealer, the formula of concealer is very important when you're dealing with fine lines, smile lines and wrinkles. And also setting the concealer properly is also very important. Next common question is that how and where to apply the concealer. So when you are actually applying a concealer to hide your problematic area of your skin, like under eye dark circles, then you need to apply that concealer only in that problematic area of your face. You don't need to apply full face. So now first, if you just see, I use my LA Girl concealer to cancel out my dark circle and pigmentation, right? So when I'm using this concealer, I only applied it on my problematic area where I needed it. So when you're using a lighter shade of concealer to highlight your skin, then let me just take it. Then you need to apply on the bridge of your nose, under your eyes, okay, and your chin, your cupid's bow, chin, and the center of the forehead, because these are the areas where usually the light hits directly, and this is the area that needs to be highlighted. It just needs to be lifted up because that gives a very beautiful bright look, okay? These are the areas that needs to be brightened up in case if you want to brighten up your whole look. So now let me just show you how I apply my lighter shade of concealer. So I'm gonna take my Too Faced Born This Way concealer. This is again a very great formula. It's actually onto a very comfortable matte side. I mean, I have dry skin, but still it kind of sits beautifully on my skin, okay? See how I'm applying it, okay? I usually apply it, you can apply it like on the inverted triangle formula. There's nothing wrong. But when I'm using my beauty blender, I just love to build up my concealer. I would love to go little, with less product, and if I want a little more coverage, then I would go and apply another layer, because once I apply too much and if it just looks all cakey, that's hard to blend, guys, honestly. So now again, I'm just gonna apply it in the inner part of the eye and then on the outer part of the eye. Always this outer part, because you need a beautiful lift like this. So apply it on the outer part. And then I'm just going to apply this on the bridge of the nose, center of the forehead, cupid's bow, and on the chin. So I'm just going to take again the same beauty blender, and I'm gently only pressing the product into the skin. See that? I'm only pressing the product into the skin, and I'm just gonna blend it out only in this area, till the nose area, okay? This is the very area that needs to be highlighted, that needs to look bright, okay? You don't want to take your concealer all the way down than this. I'm just gonna blend it out, push the product into the skin. And also when you're taking your lighter shade of concealer, make sure you're gonna take it till here and blend, okay? So if you just leave it till here now, it looks odd. It just looks like you have like two tones right there. So just take it right here till this upper area, so it gives a lift and it looks like the foundation and the lighter shade of concealer are blended into one together, and just gives a beautiful seamless look. So now again, same, pushing the product into the skin only till the nose, okay? And going till here. So whenever you are blending something out, make sure that you are taking good time for blending, because just like using the right tools, using the right formula of product, blending is super important, guys. Okay, the more you blend, the more seamless the makeup is going to look. Okay, so just always when you're blending out your concealer now, push the product into the skin and don't drag it. Okay, so once you start dragging with your sponge, you will be moving even the foundation underneath and you will lose the coverage and it turns all patchy and creepy again. So just only push, push, push. Lighter shade, using the lighter shade of concealer for highlighting, that creates the magic. We can't use this lighter shade of concealer shade in terms of foundation, because we have this pigmented area and all that thing on skin. So if you use that lighter shade in foundation, then that whole area will turn gray. So in case if you want to highlight your skin and brighten up your skin, always do it with the concealer and not the foundation. So the next important thing with concealer is that how to make your concealer not crease and how to set your concealer in place so that it will last all day long. Okay, so we're going to look into that. So when you are setting your concealer, I would just say I would actually prefer a loose powder. I'm going to take this Airspun loose powder, this is actually a translucent powder. And this has sort of like a skin toned color, okay? This is not like that pure white shade. So in case if you have like a heavy dark circle problem and heavy pigmented problem, and if you use some super white powders, that area might again turn up gray. Just in general, if you are, or just in general, some white powders, like very white powders, not all the powders, some white powders give like flashback and instantly turn that area gray. It's all in the formulation. So if you have heavy dark circle problem and pigmented problem, the safest thing is always using a peachy colored powder or a skin toned colored powder. And when it comes to loose powders, again, you have like different finishes, okay? You have like a matte finish powder and you have like hydrating radiant finish powders as well. So depending upon your skin type, you have to choose it, okay? If you have like oily skin, pick a matte setting powder. If you have dry skin, pick a little hydrating and radiant setting powder, okay? And another thing is that, and also look for flashback. Some powders give flashback, so just don't use powders that gives flashback, because it looks ugly when you're taking up like pictures. So now when it comes to powders, you can use two tools. You can go with a sponge, or you can take like a setting brush like this, okay? Like a under eye setting brush. So when you're using a brush, just take the product, dust off the excess, and tap the product. Only just tap the product. If you're taking it with sponge, because I know like most of the people might not have like huge brush kit, and this is like a very versatile tool, guys. You can literally apply your powders, foundations, concealers, color correctors, and also you can take a lipstick, dab it as like a blush and blend it out. It's a very versatile tool, and I highly recommend everyone should have a beauty blender in their kit. Like if you don't have a beauty blender in your kit, dude, your kit is empty. So okay, now I'm gonna take this powder, loose powder, and I'm just gonna dunk this, wait. So now, how to make sure that your concealer is not creasing or it's not settling into the fine lines and the smile lines of your face, okay? So I don't have like super prominent forehead lines. I do have smile line in this area, but that is not prominent as well. But yeah, if we have the lines under the eye now, just see, this is the line, right? So before applying the powder, make sure this area is actually smooth and blended out. Okay, just go with the sponge and push the product and make sure it is all smooth and blended out. So once it is smooth, then go and apply powder, okay? If you just see that concealer settling into that area, don't apply powder on that area, because if you are setting it on top of that area, then it's gonna set like that. it is gonna set with that crease lines only. So first smoothen out that crease lines with the sponge and then apply your loose powder. So now I'm gonna take the loose powder and I'm gonna dunk the sponge in the loose powder just like this. Always remove the excess, okay? You don't need lots of powder on your skin, because once you apply too much powder, it's gonna give a very dry, creepy look, because makeup is not all about just what you see on camera, okay? Sometimes camera might not show you exact little teensy bits of imperfections, okay? But makeup is more about like what you're seeing it in real, when some person is like seeing it, you know, in real. So now just press the product into the skin, just like that. Press it. It's set. You don't need a heavy baking and stuff. Just little amount of powder to lock that cream product in place is all you need. Remove the excess and then press the product into the skin like this. All this area, okay? So if you have like a dry skin and if you do like crazy sort of like baking, the area will turn very dry. And even if you have like oily skin, honestly, baking, I mean, like, there is no wrong in baking, guys. You can do it, okay? It's a personal preference, but honestly, it is not like a mandatory step to bake your skin, okay? You can just use a little amount of powder to set your makeup in place and you're literally good to go. Now I'm just gonna do the same for the rest of my face as well. Take the sponge, remove the excess and dab it on all the areas of my face. Honestly, you don't need shed loads of powder to set the makeup. So in case if you have like any acne still popping up even after applying foundation and concealer, then you can take a very tiny thin brush, pencil brush or a very tiny thin brush, and just take the concealer which is exact match to your skin tone and apply on that area. Just a teensy dot, pop like that, okay? And it kind of gives a little more coverage on top of that. And do that before applying your powder, okay? Always when you're dealing with cream products now, all the cream products should go onto your face before applying your powder. And once you apply your powder onto your skin, the next all the products should be of powder formulation. In that way, the makeup will not turn patchy anyway. This is how it looks like after all the concealing and, you know, the full face of glam. So now coming to the next, thing, like what are other uses of like concealer? So apart from using the concealer to cancel out your pigmented and, you know, like problematic areas of your face, you can also use the concealer underneath your eyebrows after applying your brow product to give a definition and, you know, to bring out that shape to your eyebrows. And you can also use the concealer around your lip line as well after applying lipstick to again bring out the shape to your lips and to clean out any of the, you know, extra bleeding of the lipstick. Or you can also apply like the concealer underneath your winged eyeliner as well to make your winged liner look sharp and neat. And also you can apply the concealer on top, in the bottom lash line as well as a nude liner. So there are multiple ways other than concealing that you can use with your concealer. Like literally my makeup room is like looking like a mess right now. I have, you know, like this week I have to set up my whole makeup room and like organize my makeup room actually, so that I could find some products which I'm unable to find right now. Anyways. So yeah, that's it. That's all for this video, and I hope you guys will find this video informative. If you like it, then please don't forget to give this video a like, share, comment down below, and subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn on that bell icon so that you will be notified whenever I upload a new video. And also make sure that you follow me on my Instagram as well. The link I'll be leaving in the description box below. So if in case if you want to see like more of these makeup class, you know, the makeup class session sort of videos on my channel, just like leave them in the comment section below. What are the videos you guys want to see on my channel next? And by saying that, we're gonna wrap up today's video, and I will see you all with another video, and thank you so much for watching. Till then, have a great day. Bye.